This story starts in September last year. A few days before the start of the shooting season, George asks us over to film some driven boar shooting. Not in Germany, but Sussex. The reason? Unprecedented boar damage to his cover crops. It's put him in an impossible situation.
I hate it, to be honest. If I'm honest, it's not something that, I'd love to see him about. I think they're a wonderful animal. But being a conservationist, I also understand that stuff has to be controlled. I wouldn't want to see massive damage done everywhere, and I wouldn't want to see the last one eradicated.
With only 2 beaters, it's going to be hard going, but George is desperate to move them on. He positions himself near a damaged fence line, a semi-auto filled with solid slugs. This is one load he isn't prepared to put through his competition Barazzi. The guys work through the maize crop, but the only thing that shows itself is a fox which doesn't realise how lucky it is. The beating line, such as it is, pushes through another couple on the estate, but they are boar-free. The alternative strategy is even less appealing to George, lamping them.
Tonight the rifle I'm using is a Tikka T3, a 308 calibre. Sussex Police have a minimum requirement of 270 to shoot wild boar, and you have to have it on your licence to be able to go after them. So it's one of the reasons I've been called in to do this. Is I've got permission to shoot the ground and I've got boar on my licence. So we're meeting all the requirements tonight to be able to go after them in a legal manner, and hopefully we'll get a chance at one.
George has a 308 and 243 with him, keeping his options open, and with good reason. The night starts with some foxing action. George not only has to protect his cover crops, but his birds too. As you'd expect, it's a well-executed shot.
And when the light touched it, it was obviously a little bit lamp shy. It'd been shot at before, I would think. And it turned and ran here, ran about 10 yards, stopped and looked over its shoulder. And that was just enough to get a shot at it. But it was about probably 250 yards. But nice shot, nice safe background into the bank. Nice start.
200 yards further on in the super smooth electric Polaris, he bags another, just yards from the pens. This one's a big lad.
Very, very big fox. Well, probably one of the biggest foxes I've seen. I mean, it's a real big dog fox. Thick set as well, a lot of muscle. So, that would have been a real hunter killer, so it was a good one to get.
On the other side of the estate, we get our first sight of pig. They cross along the fence line and disappear into the wood. George considers a shot, but lets them go. He isn't happy taking a shot at this range at night. The last thing he wants is an injured boar with no means of tracking it. That was the last chance George had before the game season started. Tonight, 4.5 months later, we're on boar patrol again.
They're creating so much damage for me at the moment that I've got to go and do something about it. So I don't think there's huge amounts, but I just think that to take 1 or maybe 2 out is a way forward to hopefully move them on and push them back in the woods where they can, root up an enemy roots and bulbs and those sort of things. In a normal year it wouldn't be a problem because they'd be on the acorns, hard on the acorns in the hardwoods, but there's no acorns at all this year, no chestnuts. So consequently they're out after everything they can get their hands on.
The damage to the ground and the feeders is clear to see, and George is confident we'll spot one tonight. However, just like last time, the fox is the first target, and George is keen to see it drop. And this is the reason why.
Now, we just shot that fox in now, and he was working up through the park. And the reason he's working up through the park is it's been a windy night. Some of these pheasants have been blown out of the roost. If you look over there, look, in the light, now there's a pheasant on the ground there that's been blown off the roost. See that? If a pheasant gets blown off the roost, that'll be it now. You won't go back up to roost tonight.
We drive through the maize. The boar's acorn substitute this winter, but there's no sign. However, the foxes are not being so shy. No lamp-averse animals here.
If I see a fox and get an opportunity of a fox, I've got to take it, because otherwise I'm not doing the job.
George drops one after another, the hum of the Polaris keeping them sitting pretty. There's even a pair running together. George gets the first. The second runs, but a drive through some other fields accounts for her too. There's frustration for all. George needs to scare these animals back into the woods so they don't interrupt the gathering up work at the end of the season. We'll be back for our elusive Sussex boar in the next few days.